What's up, Grappler fans? If y'all been keeping up with my 1967 6.7 Powerstroke swap, you are aware that I was planning on building a shop right here where my Bronco and Excursion are parked, and I've now come into some family troubles back home in North Carolina. My mom has cancer, and with us having kids, we're trying to move back home anyway. So the time is right. We're going to try to go ahead and get relocated with the Coast Guard to North Carolina. I don't have orders up there yet, but I do have some family land in my possession up there that I want to move all my junk to, so that when we get there, we get settled and we get my mom squared away, I can finally build my shop that I want there in North Carolina, get back to work on all the projects, and give you guys some good content. So this video is going to be about that journey, getting up there. First things first, we're going to take my old yellow crew cab up there. It's a 1971 F250 crew cab long bed, and that one is on the back burner the furthest. It's going to be getting a 12 valve Cummins and a full drive conversion eventually, but that is going to come after the 1967 6.7 swap. So I bought this Ford Excursion so that I can tow everything up there and still have my family with me. We're gonna go visit with my mom some here soon, and actually kill two birds with one stone, bring a truck up there to see her and spend some time with some other family and some cousins and everything. So we're gonna take this big daddy wagon up there and have us a good time. So I'm gonna try it out. The only thing I've towed with it is the Bronco. The day I bought it, I brought my trailer with me and towed the Bronco home, and everything went well there. So we're gonna tow a little bit bigger truck this time, see how it goes, bringing the family with us, so y'all stay tuned. So what I plan to do first is, now that I got the Bronco out of the way, is fire up the Excursion and hook it up to the trailer, pull it out and check all the tire pressure on the spares and all four tires on both, and then see how that's all looking, check, see if I have any issues there, make sure all the lights are working, all the basic trailering stuff, make sure my oil and everything's good in the Excursion, which I've already kind of looked at some of that stuff, but also going to make sure I have the proper jack, impact and sockets, or at least tire iron to change a spare a flat on the trailer or the Excursion. Once that's all set, I'm going to fire up that old yellow truck over there and see if we can get that thing running and on the trailer. It's a little sandy in here. I need to clean it up some as well. Battery's a little dead, but started right up. Also, here's a look. I didn't film any of this, but I did just replace this leather seat cover because the old one had a huge rip right here, so pretty excited about that. I need to clean up this one some. It's got some kind of dirt still in these like stress cracks, but I've seen that clean up before, so I didn't bother replacing that. Pretty excited how this came out. Still needs to be sat in a few times to get the wrinkles out, but I think it's going to look pretty good when it's all done. And this thing is pretty clean. Got my little girl out here helping me out. We're setting the tires to 55 in the rear and 45 in the front per the sticker on the side of the door panel. So that's what the truck calls for. The tires can hold up to 80, and the spares, or excuse me, the trailer tires, and I'm checking the spare as well. I'm doing what they recommend there. The max I think is 80 for them, but I'm doing more like 60. I don't want to get too crazy. They've actually held air really well, considering I've had it for 2 years and never put air in the tires. The factory spare looks untouched in here, which is a good sign. I don't know if y'all can see that, but brand new steel spare, but it is really low on pressure, so I'm gonna go ahead and fill that thing up to 55 and see if it holds air for the next couple days before we leave, because we want to make sure we're ready if we get a flat on this trip, especially with family. Don't want to be stuck on the side of the road. Then I'm gonna clean off this deck a little bit and try to get that truck over here loaded up and ready to go. So here's the status of the 2016 wreck truck that I bought from Copart to put this 1967 body on. Right now it's been sitting a little while again after I just changed the batteries and the fuel filters and put some fresh fuel in it. So I'm going to do a fuel sample by draining the little frame mounted fuel filter under here into a jar and swish it around. Make sure there's no water or dirt or algae or anything bad in there, and then fire it up, get it out of the way, because this is the truck that I am loading up on the trailer. That's going to be on the back burner for the foreseeable future. You can see there's a lot of rusty crap on here. I'm really mainly concerned about the cab because these are always all rusted out, and even though this one doesn't look pretty, it is in really good shape for what it is and how cheap it was. So I'm gonna go park this on some property, some family property, and hope to get to it the next couple years after this thing's done, because this isn't going to be a quick process either. Here's another peek at the rust on this one. So I've got my work cut out for me. Got some rust holes here, so this thing was worthy of getting cut up and put on this one, and this one was just a little bit in too good a shape, so I'm going to end up cleaning up the frame, doing a full frame off restoration and engine swap and all that. But for now, it's not really getting any uglier. It's pretty bad already. I'm going to try to protect some of the metal that I care about with some fluid film corrosion preventative stuff, which I may or may not be able to do before I leave. Fuel looks good. Now I'm going to cycle the key about 7 times for good luck and make sure that the fuel filter's full of fuel and all the lines are purged of any air, and see if I got enough battery juice to start this thing up. So my plan, now that the 6.7 is warming up, I don't really feel like moving this whole cab here by myself. I'd have to drag it around with the four-wheeler and ultimately put it back in the same spot. But I can't get this long bed out without hitting it. So I'm hoping that the diesel can pull this thing from its custom fabricated bumper from back in the 70s directly sideways and slide it. I already dug it out a little bit. Hoping to slide it sideways and not have it roll into that truck. So y'all go ahead and comment right now if you think this is a bad idea, if you think that this bed is going to end up hitting this cab, which I do want to use because it has a rust-free pretty much everything for the black truck as some donor parts. So let me know what y'all think right now in the comments before I do it, and we'll see what happens. All right, here's my setup. Got a strap going to the tree, a little chafing gear there. Put it up a little higher on the tree in hopes to kind of pull it slightly up and out of its hole. And I am going to throw the parking brake on this rig in hopes that I can stop and it won't keep rolling. She's nasty in here, boys and girls. But last time I drove it, the parking brake worked. So go ahead and set that and hope for the best. We'll give her a little tug and see what it wants to do. I'm not going to get too crazy with it. I forgot to put it in full drive that first time, so the old lady's gonna be mad at me. I just dug a little hole, but just put it in 4 low, and hopefully she'll go this time. Maybe these 42s can get enough grip to bump this thing over a couple feet. Well, now we know my four-wheel drive works. I did check it when I loaded it on the trailer. I used four-wheel drive. But one thing I just noticed is this hook didn't go on all the way, and now it is. So that sucker is tight and could break. So that's a little sketchy. I'm gonna have to hammer that off. Be careful. Hopefully I didn't tear up the axle or nothing underneath this thing, even though I'm replacing all that. But you can see she drug some earth with it, with these old school mud tires from 50 years ago. Pretty crazy setup. But that's gonna do it right there. She's got perfect clearance. Now I can fire it up and drive right out of here. And I bet most of y'all are guessing this thing's not gonna start up, but we'll just see about that, because this is a Ford 300 inline 6 and those things never quit. Hook up this old gas jug to the 71 here and see if we can get it ready to go. I'm gonna steal a battery out of the 2016 6.7 over there that I know is good. It just started that up, and slap it in here and see if it cranks up. I mean, this thing has been completely exposed out here. I did replace the points of condenser in the coil, excuse me. The points of condenser are inside the distributor right there. That's all I did to get this thing running pretty much, besides replacing some ground wires and wire going to the starter. And that's been a couple years ago. So she started up once since then. I recently put this bag over here after realizing the carburetor was exposed, so this is going to be exciting. Now that we have all the ingredients for a real nice campfire, we're going to see if this thing will start up. I did dump some gas down the carb and all over it, so safety first there. Going to be careful, but luckily the only thing really flammable on this thing is the fuel itself, so it would probably just burn up right here if anything got too crazy. It's nothing really too valuable in here, it's all just metal, so we're going to send it. But make sure y'all are careful, got your safety equipment and fire extinguisher and all that around when you're being this reckless. Don't recommend it. These terminals are probably too rusty to actually start up, but that battery's got way more juice than this thing needs, so we're just gonna see what happens. Don't want to get in here, that is freaking nasty. Let's see, should be in neutral. I forgot I took my knob off and put it in my first gen Cummins, but yeah, she's in neutral. I'm gonna push the clutch in, and I guess I gotta sit here. I'm gonna find that tarp I was just using. All right, got my new seat cover installed here, so we'll try this out. Try not to fall through the floor here. This thing, she's gonna need a lot of work when I finally get to it, but that's all right. That's what's fun about these old trucks. The clutch does not feel right. Well, I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a while. I got no lights. I should have some kind of lights. Yeah, I got nothing. I think that the terminals are too rusty, so I'm gonna clean those up. Terminals have been cleaned and reconnected. Let's see if we got anything now. Nope. Might have had some wires chewed. Yep. Got nothing. Well, I just looked around, and it seems like there's 3 wires that run this thing. They're right here. There's this thick blue one going to my coil, which is kind of loosely on here. I don't know if that's actually going to spark or not. And then there's a red one with a white wire, white stripe or something like that, going over to a ground on the block. And then this one, I can't tell the color of it, is going down here to the engine also. And I traced them in there underneath to the key. Nothing seemed chewed, but after wiggling them around, now I have this light. So we're gonna see what she'll do. I put gas in it like 30 minutes ago, so it's probably not gonna start, but we'll just see what happens. All right, we got things flowing. Now we'll put some more gas in it. It sounds pretty healthy, like it might try to start. It's going to take a while for this fuel to make its way up to the pump. That is, if the pump is still working. But I also could have flooded it because I poured so much in there. So I'm going to actually do that again and see what she'll do. But I smell a lot of gas. Probably check for spark, considering that I messed with this and it doesn't look good. It's holding on by a thread. Yeah, I'm just gonna reconnect that better because I already don't like that, and then I'll put more gas in it and try that. This is a sketchy setup here too that I did. I mean, previous owner, that darn previous owner guy, you gotta watch him. Got a four-wheeler spark plug rigged up on this fuel pump, and I'm going to set y'all down and let you look, see if you have spark, and then I'll check the footage and we'll go from there. Well, it was too bright to see on camera whether or not that was working, so I'm going to try this method so I can look at it myself. No spark action though, so that's not good. I wonder if I made that worse. I put a crappy connector on that. Haven't addressed these again. One thing at a time. Reconnected the coil. I'm gonna try it one more time, and then I'll clean these connections up here. But I'm hoping it was those wires I just kind of twisted together. No joy. I just trimmed off the ends of both of these wires for the coil and cleaned up the stud that they go on. The bolts are still super rusty, but I got good metal on metal there, and I'm gonna try it again now, see what happens. This ignition system's been fighting me even harder than it did after it sat for 20 years. I need a little bit more time to figure it out, and I've been dead set on taking this one first for whatever reason. But why don't I just take this one first, see if it'll start up. It's got bad gas in it and it's still running off its own tank, but if I can get this one fired up and on the trailer, then that's a win. So I'm gonna switch over to that, see how that goes. If that thing fights me, then I'll go back to pulling this one on, but I really don't want to yank this thing up on the trailer and send it into the back of the Excursion. I'd rather drive up on there. So we'll try that out and see if we have any more luck. This one's got a 352 V8. So last year the 352. It's an FE motor, and not to be confused with the later 351. But we just found the key to it. I'm gonna spray some fire juice in it and see if it does anything. I'm pretty sure the fuel in this is bad. Like, I know it's bad. So I wonder if it's sucking bad fuel and giving it a bad time. Let's see. A little more of this maybe. Do full choke. Well, we can see which one wants to go to Carolina first. I'm gonna go ahead and put some air in the tire, see if we can get it up out of the ground, and then I'll load it up on the trailer and kind of strap down this cab here and rethink everything a little bit, maybe throw some more parts in here. I didn't really want to take this one because it's the one I want to work on first, but they're probably both going to end up on the land until we buy a house and build a shop anyway, so why not? I think it's time to take this one up there. It's cooperating. I think it's just going to be an easier go. As much rust as this thing has, it just cracks me up how nice the doors close and open as rust falls out, and how quickly it started up. So it's just being real nice to me. And you know, as ugly as this engine is, I kind of like it, the fact that she started up. Maybe I'll end up putting it in this one instead of a Cummins. Y'all let me know down below. Do you think I should use a Ford V8 and have that old school sound in this long bed when it's done? Because I know I'm putting this one on the 6.7 chassis already. saving this one is just going to take so much work. Rust repair anyway, I might as well swap it. So y'all let me know, Cummins or old, you know, 1967 V8. Either way it'd be manual. I already have the engine and trans. I would just have to rebuild it and go through everything. It's so old and doesn't exactly run right, but that could be cool too. So y'all let me know what y'all are thinking, because the goal is to have this one be a Frankenstein truck named Frank, and this one to be lefty with all the leftover parts, some doors and whatever, maybe a different bed, front end stuff from this truck, and whatever I don't actually use from this that's not quite good enough for the 6.7 swap, I'm going to throw on this truck. So we'll see. Let me know in the comments what y'all think about that plan. I plan on working on these with my kids for forever and holding on to them, so not a huge rush, but obviously it is painfully slow watching the progress, but y'all stay tuned. Last time I drove it with a flat and ran it off the bead, so I had to reseat it with a little bit of starting fluid and flame, but this time I just let it sit here and seems to be coming back just with air. I don't care how many cup holders it has, I'm gonna use all of them. As you guys can see, we got the old 67 loaded up on the trailer, and I didn't end up filming the trip because it was dark and raining pretty bad. So here we are, about 6 hours away from my house in Florida at my wife's parents' house, and we have another 4-hour trip to go in a couple days up to my family land where I grew up when I was really young out in the country. So we're going to take that thing up there and try to share a little bit more of that with y'all. But as you can see, this rust bucket's not any less rusty. I guess a couple pieces might have flown off, but still not looking pretty, especially in this light. And this is her bad side over here. So stay tuned. We are definitely going to have a complete transformation on this thing between the new chassis and completely sandblasting it. Probably going to even powder coat what's left of it as we add on to it to try to make it that much more rust proof in the future. I want to talk about my trailer a little bit. I don't love how my straps are just hooks and I have stake pockets. I don't have any like eyelets or anything to attach to, but I did find some decent attachment points on the frame for these big old ratchet straps. I don't love how I had to kind of loop around here, but it worked out great. If it fits, it ships. No issues there. You see I got my rags here for a little chafing gear so we don't end up you know, cutting into the strap and one of them coming off. So that worked out pretty good. I would prefer to strap this to the lowest point, like the actual I-beam here. Y'all can see that. Like, I would like to strap it to that instead of up here on the frame, because with it up on the frame like that, you still have the suspension trying to go up and down. Now you hit a bump and that makes chafing, and also just like you're pulling the straps tight and loose and everything, and they can loosen up. But luckily I only got like one more click on these front two straps when I stopped at Buc-ee's and checked it. Everything else stayed pretty solid, pretty tight, better than I was expecting. So hopefully we continue there. This is kind of funny too. You can see this tire from being flat so many times is like totally coming apart, but she's still holding some air. We're gonna get some nittos on this thing, obviously. The cab back here in the bed, I did have this strap loosen up on me, but I got it tightened down as well. It's not going anywhere. It's a pretty heavy, big thing, but I figured it would at least look secure with a nice strap across it and not sketch everybody out. Seatbelt looks like it's about to fall out. Still attached. Okay. So yeah, there's a little update. Thank y'all for coming along with this little adventure. I'm excited to get everything in one new place, and then hopefully build a shop at my new house, which I don't know where that's going to be exactly yet, or how soon I'm buying a house, because that's a whole process. So y'all stay tuned. I'm going to try to keep y'all updated. I know it's not that exciting right now. I'm just moving around rusty junk, but I think it'll be cool to see, once this is all done, how much of a process and how much time I put into making my dream truck. So thank y'all. We're gonna hit the road here in the next clip probably, and we'll see where we end up. Hopefully nothing falls off the trailer. Hopefully all these tires hold air, and the Excursion's doing great so far. I haven't really mentioned it before, but this is the V10 Excursion. I wanted a 7.3, of course. Even a 6.0 would have been nice, those both being diesel. But this has the V10 gas motor, which is very reliable, but it's just not a diesel. It's not quite as exciting, not as powerful, but it pulled this thing no problem. I think it's a great fit, especially with diesel being $2 more than gas right now. We've actually been pretty lucky with the price of gas coming up here. Wasn't too bad. So we'll show more of the Excursion later. She's pretty filthy right now, but really stoked on it so far, and I would like to hear y'all's opinion on what I should do with it while I have it. All right, we made it out here to some family land that I used to live on, and an old house here that we are trying to keep in the family and fix up one day. And this is where I'm parking it, so we're gonna try to get it off without getting this thing stuck, because everything's super swampy out here, and we'll see how it goes. Try not to hit any trees or anything. Should be fun. I think it kind of looks like it belongs over here. Hopefully nobody gets nosy and messes with it. We're out here in the middle of nowhere. I'm gonna put some signs up and everything, and then park my other trucks over here by it until we can get them into my backyard shop at the new house. So we'll see. Hopefully they won't be here too long. Back home, this is how the gas pumps look, and your phone doesn't work here, so that's always exciting. Especially in this big old rig. Thank y'all so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and check out GRAPPAHOLICS on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.